Okay, so let's have a quick look at how we can use Adobe Spark, and it's pretty much as simple as opening the app, and the first thing you'll see is all these different templates. Now the templates are, you can see featured, you have college, seasonal, you've got different topics you can go through here as well, but I often just like going through the featured, and a really simple trick is just literally going through. You can obviously create your own from scratch if you just press that green button in the middle. You can see as well I'll have your my post, so that's any of your own posts that will save there. But I often even just like, looking through the templates, and depending what I'm looking for something that's already kind of similar looking to what I want, and then just change a few things around. So let's say I want to do a quote, and I just, like, and take a quote, one of my favorite quotes, focus on getting better, bigger will take care of itself. So maybe that's the quote I want to use, and I'll simply just select one post and go, okay, cool, this one's pretty cool, and this is similar to what I want it to look like, and then I just click on the remix button. Now the very first thing you want to do is go onto this button here, which is resize. So always start with this one here, because this, as you can see, is you can resize it on the post you want already. So it has all the social media posts on there, which is pretty awesome. You've got social profiles. It's pretty much got anything that you could need in the already, exact size. So let's say I want to do an Instagram post, which is I use it most for. I want to make sure that one is the one I have, and then I click done. Now the next thing I normally will always change is I need to obviously change the text, so I can just double click on it and change this text. Let's go focusing on getting better. Okay, let's just leave that at that. Now you can see I can just like pull this here, and it's going to change the text slightly. So I want to go there, so you can see these little lines that will tell me in the middle. But now what I can do as well is I'm clicking on this text, I can also change the font. So I might decide that I want a font like this or this, and you can just have a bit of a play at all the different fonts and see which ones you like, best. So let's just say for the time being we want to use this text. We click on it. The other thing that we can do as well, so you can see here font, we can also have color, so we can change the color of our fonts. These ones are already kind of giving me two different ones. It will give you all sorts of different options of how we could change the color. My big advice with colors like this is just always make sure that it's very easy to read. Like, that's something that's super important, especially if you're doing quotes or anything like that. You want it to be easily to read. Okay, so we can change the color, change the font. You can also change the shape. So here you can see there's a backdrop to it, but you could also do it like this, or make circles around it. Just have it like a normal. Could just have it completely normal. Have with the double back. There's all sorts of different things that we can kind of play around with. We can align the text in different ways. We can make it look a bit different. Maybe we want a different. Let's go with a different font if we're having it in this style. So you can play around with these things. So these are the buttons I would really, use the most. If you want to add, you can add text or a photo or a logo here as well. So if we want to add an extra text, like say quote, for example, then we could have this. But again, I can click on this one and make this a different, maybe I don't want that. I don't want anything around it. I just want it to be normal, and I want it to be a different font. So maybe I want it to be like this, and then I can set it, here. But maybe I want it to be smaller, so I can just size it and then set it down at the bottom here, or can take it up to the top. So whatever you want to do with the text, you can move it around, do all these different cool things. And these would be normally the ones I use the most. If I'm remaking something, I just kind of play around with the fonts, change the text to what I want. Always make sure you resize it. You can also play around with the palette. So the palette's already giving you some kind of colors that go really well with each other. And if you just click on this little button here, it will just give you like different options. So this is just a really great way of playing around with some different color schemes, whatever you kind of, you can here see a few different palettes that you can kind of choose from. And let's just say we're going to keep it with this one. And there's another few sections that you can play around with, but I wouldn't recommend as much, more if you're using it from scratch. So if you're doing a design from scratch, it's really handy to have this layout button. So this layout button you can have as a standard. You can also have like this, or it does, you can see it does different sections. So this one's a really good one if we're playing from, kind of scratch. Also the design button, there's a few like kind of pre-designed layouts in here. So again, if I'm just starting from scratch, I'll often play around with these to see which one kind of looks, you know, really cool for what I'm going for at the moment, and have a little bit of a, you know, a play around. Again, if I use any of these design templates, I can always still change around a few different things. I'm just kind of looking for something that's in general with the style that I'm kind of going for. So that, this is, you know, like this one's a really good one for a quote, for example. And if you often press on this little button, it will change things around, like if you've got different words. So this one would be a cool one. And there's also effects. It's something that I never really use. So you can have the filters, so you can make different filters on the background. I don't use this as much because I normally use filters if I'm doing it on Instagram directly. And you can also use animations, which again is not something that I tend to use, but you can use them here. And that's pretty much it. Like, it's super easy. Then if you want to save it, you literally just click on share. You can save them directly to any social platforms. I personally don't. I normally just save the image, then I've got it on my phone, and then whenever I'm, you know, used, I can upload it directly. But it's such a cool little tool to get any of your things up and running quickly. And I'll just show you like one little secret tip. If you're doing Instagram posts, something I do as well, like say I want to save this image. Now I've saved it to camera roll. I want to go to my Instagram account and post this. I can actually go up here, you know, next. Like I said, here, this is where often I'll use the filters directly in Instagram. Let's say we're going to, okay, this is a horrible filter. Let's just keep it this one. Next, and I could already write a caption in. So this is an amazing quote. Let's just get it in here. Okay, cool. So this, and you know, I've already put in my hashtags, #cute babies. Okay, and what I can do, you know, I can obviously get it all set up to ready to rock and roll. But instead of clicking the share button, which means obviously it's going to get posted, I can actually go back all the way back, and you can see here now it's going to ask me to get rid of the post or save it as a draft, and I often just kind of saved as a draft, and you can see here that here's already a one that's already been saved in. So sometimes if I'm just making a few different quotes or things like that, I'll literally just keep saving them and adding them already into my draft here on Instagram. So then whenever I need a quote to post, I have just a couple of backups sitting here already. So I hope this was a useful tutorial.